This podcast is brought to you by Australia's LGBTQIA+ community media organisation, Joy. Keep Joy on air by becoming a member, a subscriber, or donate. Head to joy.org.au. Joy, a diverse sound for a diverse community.
We're still here, still queer, and we're not going anywhere.
And this is Gillian with you here on Still Here, Still Queer. Thank you to Mossy and Rob and all of that swing and lovely surfing music, and to Joe for the news. I've been on my own for the last few weeks. When I say on my own, I mean I've been hosting on my own. It's been a lonely place. But tonight, I'm not going to be on my own. I've got the lovely Phil with me here. Phil, are you there?
Here, present, hello.
He's still here. He's still queer. I've got a little song for you, Phil.
I don't sing, so it better not be a sing-along.
No, darling, you don't have to sing along. Good. The only song where I've ever heard anybody sing number 2 like that. Number 2. But really, it just means that I am now no longer a 1, I'm a 2, Phil.
Well, you're a half.
Oh, no.
Because we're 2. You're still 1.
Don't get complicated on me. Phil, thank you so much for joining the Still Here, Still Queer crew.
Well, I qualify because I'm still here and I'm still queer, so here I am.
Well, one would think that it's not a big qualification, but actually just being still here.
That's not easy.
It's a victory in itself.
There's a lot of hanging around.
But you're not. Well, you've been hanging around Joy for years, haven't you, Phil?
I've been here. This is my 14th year.
Wow. And you were on a show called Been There.
Been there, done that.
Done that. Bought the T-shirt.
Even though we mostly hadn't. It was a
lie.
It's all a lie. Radio is a lie.
It's an illusion. I prefer illusion.
It was an on this day kind of thing. So somebody had been there and somebody had done that.
Excellent.
So that's all that matters.
And you haven't done this yet. You haven't been there and done this, so you're going to be doing this.
This I don't know what this is yet.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. Today on Still Here, Still Queer, we're going to be talking to someone who I hope is going to give us really good advice on, how to land a job when you're north of 60 or 50 or whatever feels old to you. Janie D'Souza, hello.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm really happy to be able to share some tips and tricks with anybody that is finding themselves in that current situation.
Yes.
It can be quite stressful and quite demoralising at times.
Well, on the stress angle, I totally agree with you. So I'm well ahead, actually, because I've invited, I'd say, our resident personal trainer, Trevor.
Hello, Trevor,
to help with that stress management.
Yeah, I hope you walk away from here with a few tools in your tool belt, how to reduce your stress levels and manage it on a daily basis.
Perfect. So, Janie, how do you qualify? Because you're a recruiter, aren't you?
Yep.
So what's a bit of your background?
So a bit about my background is my business partner and I started Remedy Recruitment Australia about 9 years ago, and we specialise in health. We work all around the country, so anything health related. So it could be disability, community, mental health, acute hospital sector, aged care.
So when you say that, these agencies or a hospital will come to you and say, Lord, we need all of these.
Yeah, correct.
And
we specialise also in permanent recruitment, so we're not labour hire. So, we're not like short-term or a shift
casual,
or something like that,
yes.
no. So we look for permanent jobs for our candidates, and we work really closely with our clients. And probably one of the benefits would be, because we've been in the game for so long, so we've got 30 years experience between us. And the people that this show today or this segment is geared to, really, we kind of started our business too because we didn't want to be told we were too old and it was time to go.
Wow.
So we thought we'd start our own business 9 years ago. So I'm 64 and my business partner's just turned 66. So as far as we're concerned, plenty of life left in the old dog.
Well,
and we're really happy to just
Janie,
keep working.
There is plenty of life left in you. And I've just posted a picture of you, and, it's actually a picture that you can't help but smile at. It's on my Facebook page, Gillian Bartlett. Check her out. because you are so full of life. So come on, give us some of that. Start where you like, what we need to think about.
Well, I guess the thing is, in an ideal world, you'd be thinking about you know, what's going to happen later in life with your career, probably by the time you're about 40-ish. But of course, a lot of people, myself probably included, you think that day's never going to come. So, you know, ideally that's what you want to start thinking about. But if you don't, you've got to really sort of look at what your true skill set is and what your passion is, but they really need to kind of go together. You know, I come across a lot of people who will be like, oh, you know, I think this could be my opportunity to do something new. Now, that's sort of really making things tricky for you, because I think you really, you know, unless you have got plenty of money sitting behind you and you're prepared to put in the work, you really kind of need to stick to what you're really strongest in. And also the network. Your network is just gold. We all know that often it's not about what you know, it's about who you know.
Would you say, I mean, because there are all of those apps out there, you know, that you search on, Seek being one of them, but do most people find jobs through those?
Look, it can be really demoralising because...
Phil says no.
Yeah.
Phil's giving that the big no.
I think one of the hardest things as a starting point are people's CVs. It's so hard to write your own CV. It's really hard to work out what's going to be relevant. Should I put everything on there? No, you shouldn't put everything on there.
Okay.
You should probably only have maybe the most recent 10 years.
Okay.
And then you can put a little bit down the bottom of, employment pre, whatever date it is, details on request. Or you can just give a quick overview of, you know, what some of those roles have been, particularly if they're relevant to what you're actually going for.
I did some of my best work at 17.
Well, dear.
That's a while ago.
fair while ago.
That's more than 10 years ago,
It's a little
Phil.
more than 10 years.
Well, 65 now, so you do the math.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay, so 10 years, you say.
about 10 years, I would say. And you really need to look at your job that you're going for, that you're really keen on. And look, it's a lot of work. It's a job, getting a job. You've got to sort of have that mindset. But look at the job that you're going for, look at your CV and try to actually pull out all of the things that relate to that role and really boost those, because they're the things. You've got about 7 seconds of a potential employer looking at your CV.
7?
It's not long. And you've got to jump off that page and they need to see why you would be good for the job. If it doesn't fit, in the bin. Sad but true. That's what happens.
They're not going to extrapolate stuff.
Like if you've got to work too hard to get that information
Yes.
of why this person would work in this role, it's not going to happen.
Wow. Now, Janie, you're happy to take questions from anyone, aren't
100%.
you? So, 0427 569 949 if you want to shoot us a text, or on air at joy.org.au if you've got any specific questions. Now, I am, Janie, right in that slot, turned 60 this year and cannot get somebody to get back to me, you know, on a job application, you know, and I'm thinking, trouble is, I'm not getting the feedback, right?
No, you don't.
So I'm guessing about what I'm doing wrong. Is it my age? Am I too experienced? Am I?
Look, sometimes, yes, that's true. But, you know, this is one of those situations where it actually is really helpful to have a good consultant in your corner. Now, you know, we're not all like car salesmen. And as I said before, we started our business so we could actually work to our values, which, you know, might sound a little bit of an anathema, but really that's why we started it. Look, as a recruiter, it's so important for me to get feedback for my candidates. So I'm like a dog with a bone. I won't give up. Whereas you, anybody else, you'll send an application through, you'll never hear again.
Yeah, that's it.
Or
and
if you do interview, I want to come back to you and say, look, you were unsuccessful because of this, all great news, they loved you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And if we do follow up, we become a pest.
That's right.
Whereas
that's my job to
you're
be
a pest on our behalf.
I'm a serial pest. That's my job.
So so you can in that way kind of be like a car salesman. Sorry, car salesman, that you're listening. Again, we're painting you.
They're out selling cars.
At this time on a Sunday, it's true.
They're
Okay.
desperate.
But I mean, that I guess is the thing, the lack of feedback. And so then you try and second guess yourself. And so you might be taking yourself further away from the problem, you know, into deeper waters. But you said about the network. So you think, you know, that there's still a chance for you to get jobs just through people that you know?
Definitely. And I look at my life and what I've done in my life, I've had to reinvent myself a couple of times, and it's 100% been through people. I know who've given me an opportunity. And then you've just got to work your butt off to actually, make sure they don't end up with egg on their faces for, bringing you into the fold.
Well, that's incentive.
But, yeah, it definitely is.
Yes, so you're a bit, I'm in the situation where my network is in an industry that's dying. So when I'm trying to I've got a few things that are making it a bit tricky. So that network is not helping me. So do I just go out walking my dog in different parks to meet people? How do I build that network?
Oh, that's hard actually, Gillian. I mean, I don't know enough about your sort of area. My area is healthcare, as I said. So probably LinkedIn is not necessarily going to work for you, is it?
Maybe I am on LinkedIn, but yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. If you don't know, I certainly don't know. I can tell you.
The other thing too is when you're reaching out to people, you don't want to just reach out to them when you need something.
That's the trouble,
you
isn't
need
it?
To actually be
Sorry, I haven't spoken to
you. You need to set up a relationship, and always, when you think, the minute you think of somebody, call them. Text them, email them, even if it's just to check in and say hello.
Yes,
that's really key.
So you've got to keep those plates spinning. You don't go, sorry, I've been meaning to call you for years, but anyway, have you got any work?
Yeah, no, that never flies too well. That doesn't fly so well.
Well, luckily I did do that recently because I had to go for this, what ended up being a bull interview to a suburb I hadn't been to for years. I went to this bull interview, and it was indeed bull and but it reminded me of this guy that I'd worked with years ago that lived in this suburb, and I texted him exactly that. I said, "How the hell are you? Got any work?" He did.
Oh, awesome. That's fantastic.
And he wasn't mad at me for not contacting
That's good. That's really good. See, sometimes that's so, serendipity.
Yes.
You were in the suburb, you thought of him.
Bingo, bango.
Yeah, bingo, bango. And that happens a lot. You think of people and then suddenly there they are.
Yeah.
That's right. That's the manifestation.
It's the manifestation, and I'm a great believer in the universe.
Still here, still queer, breaking down the intergenerational barriers with laughter and insight.
Well, not sure about the insight. Definitely a lot of laughter. But Janie D'Souza, you're going...
Gillian Bartlett.
Well, hopefully you're bringing the insights, and you have so far. Don't go back more than 10 years. You got 7 seconds to get the attention of, your potential employer. So get on with it and bring out the things in the jobs that you've done that relate to the job you're going for.
Mm-hmm. So not too wordy to get to those really key sort of points that are going to jump off the page. The other thing too, of course, is, as we know, AI is a big thing these days.
Yes.
But also just digital is really big. So there are lots of courses and things that you can do while you're getting ready to transition to whatever you want to do. And also it may well be that instead of transitioning to a permanent full-time, you might look at project work or, part-time or, 9-day, 4. There are a multitude of things out there, or consulting, if that sort of is something you can do in your field. In the care industry or care sector, as we are, there are companies out there. One in particular, am I allowed to mention names? Or
yes,
not?
you can.
Yeah.
I think in this, where it's sort of advisory, as long as it doesn't feel that you are promoting their services unnecessarily.
And look, to be honest, this is just one I know of, and I do know a couple of people who've done some work for them. It's called Mabel, and it provides care for people in the home. Now, it's one of the few where you don't actually have to have qualifications, and you can nominate the sorts of things that you can do without qualifications. So it may be, it could be cleaning, it could be preparing meals, it could be taking people to doctor's appointments, all those sorts of things. And it's a little bit like, what's that thing that...
support worker?
It's a support worker, but there's a website where you can look for skills.
Oh, yeah. What's it called?
Trades and things like that.
Anybody. What's it called? 0427 569 949.
Anyway, and so you can actually put your profile out there, and then someone who needs that care will see you and go, "Oh yes, Janie, we want you. Can you come and help my mum, or help me, or whatever."
Exactly.
So there, it's a matter of really being open to a lot of different opportunities, and then working out what you can actually do that will, bring you joy and satisfaction, but also keep those skills going. Because a lot of us might, these days live to be 90. Do we all want to be retired and at home for the next 20 or 30 years? Maybe not.
Well, I certainly know my money will have run out way
me too.
Before then. So, whatever comes first.
That's right. But there are a lot of short
sure.
courses we can do. And
Yes.
getting into the AI thing is actually really interesting. It's quite fun.
Right. Well, we have to thank listener Natalie for telling us that what we were looking for was Airtasker.
Airtasker. Thank you, Natalie. That's
Thank
exactly
you.
what
Where
I was
would we
looking
be
for.
without our
Yeah,
listeners?
well done, Natalie.
Thank you. I would forget to eat. Somebody has said something else. What's High Pages? Do we know what High Pages is?
That's for trades as well, I think, unless
Okay.
it expands into care. I don't know, but I believe High Pages is a similar sort of thing.
Well, thank you. Thank you to everybody who really is our hive mind, because certainly on Fridays my brain is not together at breakfast, and really it's sort of held together by the listeners quite often. Phil, what did you do for a crust if you're not doing anything now?
Well, speaking of AI, I spent the entire career in the IT computer business. Unfortunately, it's so long ago it precedes everything we now know as computers.
Yeah.
Not quite to the abacus, but
Almost.
not far from it.
Wow.
You'd think it's a growing industry. Well, it is a growing industry, but it's a very young, immature industry.
It is, it's true.
Doesn't treat its people very well,
No.
and you age out of it.
Because there's always somebody coming up.
Somebody younger,
Underneath
not
you.
smarter, but cheaper.
Right. I suppose, though, Janie, in what you work in the healthcare sector, AI is not a threat.
Look, no, I don't think it's a threat in the same way, but we also don't know how things will evolve. But I don't know if any of you have been to any sort of a specialist where the AI tool is taking all the notes.
Yes.
That's fantastic. It's so helpful, and it just frees up that that clinical person, so they've got more time to see more patients. Or
AI is not quite there yet. My phone does
strange things.
it does a lot of strange things, but it takes transcripts of phone messages.
Ah, yes.
And I get a lot of phone calls from the Chinese consulate or somebody in Chinese.
Do they know you?
No.
Okay.
And so Siri took a message for me, and
Yes.
it's like 30 seconds of Chinese
Yeah.
speaking. And it's not a translation, but the transcript came back, I don't know.
Look, I mean, that's quite tricky. They
That's-
don't know you.
That's so helpful.
But no, I think AI is incredible, and the speed that it's moving at is absolutely mind blowing. So, my job. Well, apparently, a couple of radio stations have been caught, not in this kind of forum-y type format, but when they are, just playing music and pretty much just saying what the music is, being caught with AI, because AI can imitate your voice very quickly. Apparently, I've just been told as well, not only can it do that, but say if there's narration in English of a show, that this particular program can take the very same voice and translate it into Spanish. So you're hearing the same voice. This person does not speak a word of Spanish, but the whole script is translated into Spanish with their voice.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, like a lot of new things, hence, from the time of Industrial Revolution, these things can be used for good and for evil. And
Everything.
yeah.
Absolutely everything.
But things evolve too,
I'm
So-
going for good. Let's try and use
let's
it
go
for
for
good.
good.
A
Yeah.
friend of mine who's let me get this right, a radiologist. They're not the people who actually take it, the people that actually interpret. And she was telling me 10 years ago that pigeons could do her job better. She wasn't a joke. Apparently pigeons are very good at spotting lumps and things on scans. How's that?
Wow.
But in an office environment, there's a lot of poop to clean up. So it's really
Yeah.
You're listening to Still Here, Still Queer, where Rainbow Elders rule. And here we are, rolling. That was the mighty Johnny Farnham, and help, because that's what it's all about today. Janie, you've been you've been helping us, trying to get work as as we get older and it gets tougher. We've had a message from little Jace, says, I'm now a quarter of my way through my 50s and I find myself being passed up for paid jobs, but sought after for volunteer work. As much as I love to volunteer, it doesn't pay the mortgage or the bills. How do we remind ourselves that we are worth more than just being put into the volunteer circles when we have so many years of experience behind us? So, that's what I was saying before. Have you got any advice how we can handle the fact that it is depressing?
It's depressing, and often people feel shame, which is
bingo.
I've known quite a few people in recent times where it's demoralising and you feel ashamed and you don't want to talk about it. But if you have some very good, your friend network is strong and supportive and good, talk to them about it, because they love you and they know you so well. They know what all your strengths are and they will provide great support to you. And I think the other thing too is to, as hard as it is, try not to focus on the barriers, but try to sort of highlight and think about the actual strength and the value that you can actually bring with all of your experience. And I guess too, it's about the language that you might be using in your CV or when you're actually talking about things, to really sort of try to remain current and enthusiastic, or sort of show that you're adaptable, flexible, that you're learning, all of the positive things that, none of this is new, but you've got to constantly be propping yourself up so that you feel positive about these things, because the truth is it's demoralising. And any sort of coaching or help that you can actually get is so good. I mean, if ever you've been to see a psychologist or anything like that, you come out of it and you feel so much better.
Yeah.
You download it and you feel more positive.
So don't bottle it up. You're right. I mean, shame is, and in the queer community, shame is our middle name anyway. Like we're already, aren't we, Trev? Like,
yeah, absolutely carrying that with us in the background anyway. Look at our history. It's just been
for the fact that we are gay.
Exactly.
It's already there, so it doesn't need a lot of encouragement to come out. So that's great advice. But Trev, you're here as well to help us deal with some of that in a maybe in a physical and emotional way. So you're a personal trainer, but stress management is a part of what you.
Absolutely. I mean, just just working with your body physically can really help, reduce those stress levels. But we could take it back a step a little bit and just talk about what stress is.
Yes.
Stress basically, it's a physiological response that we all have, and it can be quite useful. It's a response to a possible challenge or demand or a threat that's going to fire us up.
So that we need to be vigilant about, you mean?
Yes. So basically, if you could be presented with a lion crossing your path. Not we have many lions escaping from the zoo here in Melbourne, but you never know.
Yeah.
Your physiological response to that will be, let's just dump a whole lot of cortisol and adrenaline through the body to run away from this vicious beast.
Yeah, it's handy, isn't it?
It is handy. It gets you out of pickles.
Flight or fight.
Yes.
Fight or flight
that
response.
Cortisol. But I find, that the cortisol, maybe you could explain cortisol a little bit better, sort of, scientifically. But those levels are so high in me, all the time, sleeping with one eye open half the time. Once again, I would say that is perhaps a gay experience as well. That fear of who's going to turn against me, or, and it's historical. It's not just necessarily right this moment. But the way that we've learned.
You're right, though, Gillian. I think that hypervigilance is at a low simmer for many of us, particularly in the gay community.
Yeah.
And now, with us being so overstimulated with everything in our lives, devices, activities, job stress, working long hours, not seeing our friends and family because we have to work because the money is very difficult to come in, and this is kind of relating back to what you guys have been talking about. But the problem is that yes, stress is a good thing in its short little bursts to help us out of a pickle, but having that chronically is what then starts to break the body down.
Yes.
It's basically shown to have long-term negative effects on our bodies.
It can thin your hair, doesn't it? That's hair thinning is one of
at
the
the
things.
extremes, yeah, hair loss, but even just digestive issues. I think that's becoming more and more common with many of us.
Yes.
Yep, gut health issues, chronic inflammation. This high presence of cortisol and adrenaline in your body just really does. It doesn't allow the body to settle down into its natural state when we're like sleeping or at rest. Scientifically, it's called the use of the parasympathetic nervous system.
Yes.
That's the restorative part of your nervous system. The sympathetic is the one that gets us charged and moving. But if we don't have those periods of calm, the body just doesn't have the time to self-generate or regenerate.
Yeah.
The positive stress is going to be a great thing, but yeah, when you're doing it long term, it's just as I know, I like you, Gillian, I can be very hypervigilant. You know, I'm always looking for the bottom to fall out sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And if you've got something simmering in the background, it becomes what they call confirmation bias, where you just start looking for evidence that will just keep on heightening that stress response.
Yeah, we do, and that surely is some sort of manifestation in itself, isn't it? It's like what was Spike Milligan on his gravestone? I told you I was ill. You know, so you make it, you manifest it yourself. So all right, Trev, how do we deal with this? How do we bring those levels down?
Well, we can talk about some short-term fixes, and then we can talk about some maybe lifestyle choices as well.
Oh, okay, go for it, darling.
So some daily checks, I suppose. The first of which, as a quick fix, we'd be looking at, say you're super stressed at work. You know, someone, your boss has just landed some massive thing on your desk, and you have this massive deadline. If not tomorrow, then yesterday.
Got you.
And then we, instead of going into a panic, you know, we could do some breathing exercises to help us reduce that immediately. One useful tool that you can have in your tool belt, which is really quick and easy, is called, I don't know if you've heard of box breathing before.
No.
So it's not about just breathing through a box. It is about creating some deliberate breathing techniques to help calm your nervous system, bring the cortisol down, and just, we call it a box breathe because you can basically draw a line with your finger and create a square as you do these little breathing.
Do you think we can demonstrate that on air? Will it come across if we do?
We could try.
Let's have a go.
We could try. So you're going to be doing like a 4-second count on each breath. So there's going to be an inhalation, an exhalation, or an inhalation, a holding of the breath, an exhalation, and then a holding without breath, if that makes sense.
Got you.
All the air's out of your lungs. So for 4 counts, we take a deep breath in.
Okay, here we go.
And then we hold for 4, 2, 3, 4, and then release for 4, 2, 3, 4, and hold 2, 3, 4. So that last bit is very important in terms of just being able to have your lungs just sit there without any air in there. And then you start the cycle again. And you can do this as many times as you want until you start to feel that calm set in. Usually this type of deliberate breathing, you'll notice effects within a minute. 60 seconds of deliberate breathing, and this is one example. This list that I'm going to give you today is far from exhaustive, but you know, this is one of those really easy ones to do.
Is part of that you're actually concentrating on doing the breathing and you're not concentrating on anything else?
Well,
you're sort of blocking out the stressing.
That's part of it. So, you know, part of it is focusing on something that isn't the stressor.
Yeah.
But a big part of that is the fact that there's an actual physiological reaction to slowing your breath down and making that more deliberate. That's actually going to drop those cortisol
Well, I
levels
tell you
down.
what, one box and I'm flying.
Yeah.
You're on Still Here, Still Queer. We're having amazing discussions about stress management is what we've got onto, and, you know, had a wonderful explanation from you, Trevor, about, you know, what stress is and, you know, how it affects us. And we did a little box breathing then, which was huge revelation to me. What else have you got up your sleeve?
Well, look, that's a sort of brief form of mindfulness meditation that gets you out of the immediate stress response. But for those of us who feel like, and a lot of people tell me this, and I can be like this at times too, where I just go, I'm trying to calm myself down, but I cannot stop the gravy train of thought that's basically slewing through my body. And so sometimes we need something a bit more physical to attach to that is taking us out of our mind a bit. So, for example, you could do something simple as standing up and sitting down. So a sit-to-stand exercise. All right. Where if you actually stood up and well, I won't demonstrate so I don't get away from the mic.
Yes,
but,
we'll lose you.
Yeah, you'll lose me.
I'll do it. Well, you tell me
Gillian.
what to do.
All right, Gillian. So what I want you to do is I want you to sit square in the seat. Okay, and then
we're all doing it.
I want you to feel the ground beneath you.
Yeah.
All right, so all my toes, my heel, my arches, they're all sort of trying to connect with the floor. So notice how it's almost like you're creating suction cups out of your feet.
It's also, you're not aware of it most of the time, the ground beneath your feet.
No.
I'm not anyway. It's like, oh yeah, the ground's there.
Yes, exactly. And then when we stand up, we do a nice little slight lean forward to create some momentum. And then we push through the feet, standing up, shoulders back, proud chest, because posture has a lot to do with our sense of well-being. A slumped posture really doesn't necessarily help us with our feeling of self-confidence and how good we are. So you do that a few times. And notice also, not just on the stand-up phase, but on the sit-down phase.
Right.
Notice how you sit down. Notice, are you feeling a little bit of knee pain? Are you feeling a little bit of, are you slumping down in the seat? Or are you doing
this at home?
Or are you doing it in a very controlled way? Or do you just feel like when you sit down, you just completely land and do a flop?
Sack of potatoes.
Yeah, sack of potatoes. So doing a deliberate sit down and stand up with really good posture.
Yeah.
And the postural part is really important. That can also help you get out of your head and into your body.
Yeah, I think the slump thing is a huge thing, what you just said there. Talk about, body reflecting mind or mind reflecting body. It's a bit chicken and egg, isn't it? You can fix a certain amount by just going shoulders back.
Yeah, shoulders
Tits
back,
out.
chin in.
Shit's out.
Yep.
Another one which we can adopt from our wonderful furry friends.
Okay.
Is the idea of shaking it out. The old shake off. So dogs do that to reset their nervous system. So when you see a dog after they've had a big stimulus, and it could be a positive or a negative one, they could have just had some kind of scare, and you'll notice how they do a big shake afterwards.
Well, my favourite Chihuahua, when I've been carrying him, it's not my dog, somebody that I kidnapped, when I'm carrying him around the park and put him down and thinking he's loved that, straight away he shakes. I'm like, he's shaking me off.
Yeah, so it's not, and it's also, to do with a positive response as well. It's just like, okay, I've just had a whole heap of stimulation then. It was great, but I'm a bit overstimulated. So the dog will do the big shake off. And so you can just stand up or sit down if you're unable to stand in that moment, and just shake the arm, shake the head. Just do that for even just a minute, and you'll find that you'll just be taken out of that headspace for a moment, and you'll feel like a little silly goose doing it too. But that's going to make us laugh, isn't it? And that's just going to help with those wonderful good hormones like serotonin and dopamine. And if you do it with a friend, then you have that wonderful a hormone called oxytocin.
Yes, where you're seen.
Where you're seen,
with
yeah.
love.
So the oxytocin hormone is the social bonding hormone.
Beautiful.
So as part of what I was going to talk about in a moment was in terms of your daily checks, social connection with other people is one of the greatest things you can do, and we talked about in when you were talking about recruitment and the stresses and pressures you feel of that. Talking to someone really helps you. That social connection you have with another human, and yes, it's even strengthened when there's physical touch. Putting your hand on someone, skin to skin sort of stuff. is an amazing way you can reduce your stress levels. So it's kind of reducing the cortisol, increasing the oxytocin. And we are having a loneliness epidemic alongside of everything else. You know, we can go into all the controversies of social media and whether it's actually connecting us or not, but just the basic need to connect physically with another human and be in their physical presence is what our physiology is designed to do.
Well, I can certainly confirm that I often, although I seem very outgoing, I actually am an introvert. And so often I just have not in my life felt like it, probably because I've been more afraid, that sort of social angst. But these days I just make myself go to see people or do things. And now it's easy because I know I actually will feel better. It was kind of fake it till I make it for me, but actually I'm going, no, it does work. But we've had a lovely little message here. Robbie from Mornington said, so glad Joy has put this program on the air. You all come across as positive and informed.
Oh, thank you, Robbie.
Thanks, Robbie.
And somebody else said, it's little Jace, good on you. I'm doing these exercise things as you're telling us. And the whole swinging of the arms I remember doing as a child when I was bored.
Exactly. So watch a child how they shake off stress or totally be in the moment by just doing something like, shaking their arms and swinging them about. It's an amazing inspiration for us jaded adults. Just watching a kid play. We don't do enough play, and play is an amazing way of reducing stress as well. You could be playing a game with someone or going for a little, playing with kids, playing with pets. They're all our best teachers as far as stress reduction is concerned.
Well, dogs yawn when they're stressed, don't they? Have you noticed that, Janie? You've got a couple of dogs.
Yeah, I've got a couple of dogs. And they're often shaking around and yawning around, especially the little Chihuahua.
Yeah.
I think he gets a little bit stressed at times.
But that is such it's an amazing reset for their nervous system. So we're mammals too, and it works for us as well.
Well, guys, I feel that we've probably only just scratched the surface of stress management. But as I've said, Trev, you are our resident personal trainer, so we can have more of it anytime we like.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
And Janie, if anybody wants to look you up,
please do. I'm always really happy to speak to people. Just bearing in mind that I do specialise in health related roles. So, if you're outside that, well, that's actually not true. As long as our clients are health clients, then we might still do finance roles, for example, or IT roles or something within that setting.
Yeah.
So look us up on Remedy Recruitment Australia. Always happy to have a chat. Send me an email or a text and I will call you back, I promise.
Janie is incredibly generous with her wisdom and kindness. Phil, I could say the same about you. Is that true? I think it is.
I'm generous. I don't charge.
Well, David Moyle is not going to be with you, but he has programmed some fantastic jazz from Bent Notes that will be coming up. And Phil and I will see you next week.
Probably.
Thanks for listening to another Joy podcast, brought to you by Australia's LGBTQIA+ community media organisation, Joy. Help keep Joy on air. Head to joy.org.au. Joy, a diverse sound for a diverse community.